we can go ahead and get started. We've been closed here for about 9 minutes. So we are looking at the closing price here. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Good afternoon. This is Ifan from the Strategic Day Trader, and this is your market wrap for August 22nd, 2022. Q's down 2.6%, and SPY down about 2%. We identified on Friday that the market still has room to drop, but we were thinking maybe around 317 back into this area that we gapped up from previously. And we got through it today. We actually were basically gapping pretty close to it, and then we sold off right into that support, and then actually kind of continued, broke through, pretty much had a trend day to the downside today. So we talked about the weekly on Friday. That was the focus. We had this weekly that was starting to pivot here. That was a down week here for the Qs. And so we're looking at this potential downtrend on the weekly that is at odds with the uptrend on the daily. What we would need to see on the daily to be bearish is some kind of move up, create some kind of pivot. Maybe we get it tomorrow, and then Wednesday if we break above yesterday's high, and then we come back in underneath the pivot. Okay. We could continue to just sell off. I think if we get another gap down tomorrow, my expectation would be for us to move up first, just because we've already had a couple days down. We're going to get a little bit extended now from the hourly move lower. Okay, so we were following this hourly trend all for the last couple weeks here. Once we broke that hourly trend, we were expecting, and we did that on Friday, short-term pullback. That's what we're getting. So I think all of this we were pretty prepared for, as far as what to expect and what was next if this happened. So now the question is this next, if we do get a bounce sometime this week, is that going to be a viable opportunity? I think that's the tougher question. I think it's been pretty straightforward here these last couple weeks. Just follow the hourly. Daily's moving up. We're bullish on the daily and the hourly, so kind of that short-term picture was pretty clear. Now we're kind of, as we're focused on the weekly and the daily, right? We're really more focused on what the longer term implications of this pullback are going to be. And so I don't know. I mean, I think we have room still, 2, maybe 310 or so on the Qs here. That would be some support there. Maybe we spend some time there before trying to move back up, but that's really the question now. So for tomorrow, all right, still, I think we got room to go. Still going to remain bearish. The real, I think, thing that we're looking for is if we get this some kind of daily buy setup, some kind of pivot, and then what is the follow through to that pivot? Okay, so if you're kind of looking for an opportunity to play long, you could play that, but just know then if that pivot fails, right, then that bounces over, and more longer term, it's going to be markets looking lower. Okay, so I think it can be played. So if we get that bounce, I mean, it wouldn't be, I guess tomorrow, let's say we move up over today's high, you could basically play that, and then stop would be underneath today's low. And then if that fails, then I would expect longer term or bearish. Okay, all right, let's get into some plays from today. The only thing I had a call on, which didn't trigger, was this SMMT. Was looking to play this deep pullback here in the morning because I like the gap. So let's go. Here's the gap first, gapping over this red bar. Okay, like the room that it has there to the left. All right, I noticed it is kind of up to 193 now in the after hours, but for us, it didn't trigger. I was looking for this to base a little bit longer, but I thought on the 1 minute was good enough. See that move up, pull back. It was a deep pullback. It was a little bit aggressive. So this is a flawed entry, I would say, because of how deep of a pullback it is. So I'd only play this if I really like the gap. If it's a really, really good gap, like the gap a lot, I'll excuse some flaws with the entry. Okay, but didn't trigger, so fine. So no play there. And then the rest of the plays were all kind of scalps here and there. I think the bark, if you caught, was pretty nice. Played this a couple times on the way up. Nice level 2. nice bases, kind of stair stepping, not too wild there on the bark. Did the cores here into the end of the day. Wasn't sure if the flip was good. Did get a little bit of a flip there. But that was not bad as far as a base breakdown. So there's a lot of little stuff like this. I don't really think there was a lot that really stood out as far as, especially after the morning, as far as really nice scalps. So Monday, quiet Monday, for the most part on individual things. It really was about the market. I think if you caught some of these others, more major market stocks like AMD had a nice downtrend, Apple, Nvidia, some of these others, then yeah, there was definitely some good opportunity. Maybe even getting involved in the Qs themselves. If you were able to find some decent shortable entries there. So yeah, that bearish bias really continued on today. And I think we still have room lower. So, maybe we get a little bit of a pause tomorrow or slight move up, but I think we can still come in more. If we do trigger the buy setup, then that's really going to be telling. Okay, so that's what I'm watching for this week. All right. So I hope you had a good start to the week here, had a good weekend, and ready for another week here. So pivotal week here for the market. We'll see how it deals with this recent pullback. All right, and I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Have a good evening.